Allah says, Allah and His angels pray blessing on the Prophet. O believers, pray blessing on him and pray for peace on him.
Yep.
Allah makes the merit of His Prophet clear by first praying blessing on him himself, and then by the prayer of the angels, and then by commanding His slaves to pray blessing and peace on him as well.
Exactly. You see that? Yep.
Abu Bakr ibn Furak related that one of the ulama interpreted the words of the Prophet, the coolness of my eyes in the prayer, as meaning Allah's prayer, and that of the angels, and that of His community in response to Allah's command until the day of rising. The prayer of the angels and men is supplication for him, and that of Allah is mercy. It is said that they pray means they invoke blessings, barakah. However, when the Prophet taught people the prayer on himself, he made a distinction between the word salat, prayer, and barakah, blessing. We will return to the meaning of the prayer on him later. One of the commentators said that the interpretation of the letters Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad
is
that the Kaf refers to Allah being enough, kifaya, for His Prophet from His words, is not Allah enough for His slave. The Ha refers to His guidance, hidayah, as in His words, He will guide you to a straight path. The Ya refers to His support, tayyid,
Ta'yid.
As in His words, He will support you with His help. The Ain refers to His people, Isma, Isma, as in His words, Allah will protect you from the people. And the Sad refers to His prayer, Salah, on him, as in His words, Allah and His angels pray blessing on the Prophet.
So Kaf Kifaya, which means Allah is enough for you. Ha Hidayah, Allah will, which means direction, guidance. Allah will guide you to the straight path. Ya Ta'yid, that Allah has supported you with His victory. Ain Isma, Allah has protected you from people. Sad Salah, Allah and His messengers pray blessings upon you, upon the Prophet. Yep.
Allah says, if you support one another against him, Allah is his Mawla, and Jibril and the right acting believers. Mawla here means protector.
Yeah.
The right acting believers are said to be the prophets. It is also said that it should be taken literally as meaning all the believers.
No, carry on.
Section 9.
No, there isn't anything more?
No.
There's another opinion which means Abu Bakr and Umar, his protectors. And the believers. And another opinion is Sayyidina Ali. And another opinion, all the believers. Okay? So I think we should stop here. And just to summarize, this is about, we have spoken about the honoring of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in different ways, by mentioning him in the Quran before all the messengers, and we have said how the whole universe, the purpose of the whole universe is the existence of humanity, and humanity comes from Sayyidina Adam, and previous to Sayyidina Adam is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the whole purpose and the finality is the appearance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we've seen also how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a mercy to the whole universe, and how is a mercy for any community, the existence of Muslims in it. And we've talked about how the presence of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the presence of his sunnah, and when his sunnah starts disappearing, the protection that comes with and the mercy that comes with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam starts disappearing, and that's when you see affliction among the Muslims. So these are more other elements, other things related to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's different. This book is about the different ways to look and to come close and to discover who is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As I said, this book is like a trip. Is that in the time? I'd say travel in the time, or a journey through time. It's like a journey through time, almost, by which we come to understand who was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's not in the sense of really. It's not a historical thing. It's not that we go through history. We're not going through history. As you can notice, we are in the Quran. We're speaking what is in the Quran. The Quran is not a historical text. The Quran is present nowadays, as it was present when it was revealed. So what we do is really looking, fine-tuning the instrument we use to look at the Quran, and through it we are discovering who is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because everything, as you can see, every time he speaks about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he starts with an ayah of the Quran. So it's the Quran itself. Is in the Quran itself all these elements related to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're not going far away from it. We're staying in the Quran, but we didn't have the right instrument to see them. So this book is the tool by which we discover in the Book of Allah all these things about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we understand the second part of the Shahada. Muhammadun Rasulullah. Because everybody understands La ilaha illallah. As I've said many times, many people, you go to the street, you tell them, oh, do you agree La ilaha illallah? He'll tell you yes. The problem is Muhammadun Rasulullah. So this is the tool we use to understand this other part of the Shahada. Any questions?
I've never heard this before. It's very interesting. I mean, one would say that this message, particular aspect of what we've been told, is something that has to be voiced to other Muslims around the room.
Yeah.
You say that there's a warning.
You see, the kuffar have understood this. The kuffar have understood part of it. The enemies, they've seen the importance of this.
Ash-Shifa.
Yeah, and everything that entails Ash-Shifa. And that the people who have kept alive this love to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, love with knowledge, because you have to have knowledge in order to understand and love, are the people of Tasawwuf, the Sufis. The Sufis are the people who have kept this thing alive, the love to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The people of Tasawwuf are the ones who have stick to the Sharia and who have not negotiate or twisted it in order to accommodate the new financial order. The people of Tasawwuf are those who have fought physically and intellectually the kuffar. They know that. That's why they have chosen a version of Islam that is devoid from it, and they've placed it in the heartland of Islam, which is Mecca and Medina. Give them all the facilities and help them to spread it. And people have an Islam without really knowledge of who was the Prophet ﷺ, therefore without love to him, without adherence to the Sharia, but with an adherence that complies with the requirements of the new financial order, and people who are not prepared to resist the attacks of ideological attacks that comes, and they can't. They just don't have the knowledge. They don't have the capacity. So this is what the people have. And when the young people see that, they just get mad. And the first one who tells them, "Yeah, blow yourself," and they say yes. And they're not doing anything. They're just blowing themselves. They're not progressing at all. This is if you let the people know this is where you're going to grab them. Yeah, as I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made descend this Quran, and He will preserve it till the end of time. إِنَّا نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ إِنَّ لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, isn't it? That means that the preservance of the thing is not in our hands. You see, we can't help it. I mean, we can't do anything. It's in the hands of Allah. So it doesn't matter what they do, whatever is the measure they take, it just pops up from another side, you know. If they want to finish it from one side, it comes out from another side. So it's not in our hands. And it's not in their hands. It's in the hands of Allah. It's like when I think it was the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, when Abraha came with the elephants to destroy the Kaaba, and all the army, and the soldiers grabbed a flock of sheep and slaughtered them in order to eat. And it happened that sheep belonged to the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ. And then the grandfather of the Prophet, when the army was stopping in front of Mecca in order to prepare themselves to advance and destroy the city, he came alone and asked for the commander of the troops. And the commander of the troops thought that it was one of the members, important notables of Mecca, to negotiate with him. And he came and let him came to his presence and told him yes. And he said, "You have slaughtered my sheep and you have to pay me." And the king, the commander of the troops, who came to destroy the Kaaba, was confused. He said, "I'm coming to destroy your whole city, and you're asking me to pay you the sheep that my army slaughtered. I don't understand. What's wrong with you people of Mecca?" And he answered, and he said, "The house is Allah's house, and He will protect it. The sheep are my sheep, and you have to pay me." So he paid him, he went, and the army, when he wanted to advance, they couldn't. Allah sent Tayran Ababila. He sent birds with stones in their hands, and each stone pierced from here to the bottom the soldiers and killed them. Not all of them, a majority of them. Yeah. So, he said, it's not my affair. This thing is not my affair. It's Allah's thing. So this is the same thing. Islam is Allah's affair. These people blowing themselves, and I don't understand the thing. Where are they going? اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما عدد خلقك ورضا نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.